I want you to sit with something uncomfortable right away. At some point in your life, you followed the rules. You were fair, honest, consistent. You assumed that if you treated people well, things would balance out. That effort would be noticed. That intentions mattered. And then you watched someone else break those rules and win. They spoke with confidence instead of accuracy. They took credit louder than they deserved. They bent reality just enough to benefit themselves. And somehow they advanced while you stayed stuck, confused, and quietly resentful. I know that feeling because I hear it constantly. In my years of consulting, people don't come to me because they lack morals. They come because their morals stopped working the way they were promised. Here's the truth most people avoid. Human nature is not optimized for fairness, truth, or harmony. It's optimized for survival, status, and narrative control. Today, I want to walk you through 5 uncomfortable rules of human nature that almost everyone senses, few admit, and even fewer know how to navigate. This isn't about becoming cynical, it's about becoming fluent in reality. Let's start with the science, because none of this is speculation. One of the most disturbing but illuminating experiments ever conducted was the Milgram Obedience Study at Yale University in 1961. Stanley Milgram demonstrated that ordinary people were willing to inflict what they believed were painful electric shocks on others simply because an authority figure told them to continue. No threats, no force, just perceived legitimacy. The takeaway I use in my work is simple and brutal. Most people outsource their conscience to authority under pressure. Another foundational body of research comes from Baumeister and colleagues in 2001 on what's known as the negativity bias. Their conclusion was clear: negative information carries more psychological weight than positive information. Losses hurt more than gains feel good. Criticism imprints deeper than praise. This means human attention is naturally drawn toward threat, not truth. Now, let me give you the psychological lenses that tie this together. The first is terror management theory, developed by Greenberg, Pischinsky, and Solomon in the 1980s. It explains that much of human behavior is driven by an unconscious fear of mortality. People cling to status, ideology, and identity not because they're rational, but because these structures protect them from existential anxiety. The second is the fundamental attribution error identified by Lee Ross in 1977. Humans overattribute others' behavior to character and under-attribute their own behavior to circumstance. We excuse ourselves and judge others. This bias shapes nearly every social conflict you've ever experienced. With that groundwork, let's talk about the rules. Rule 1. People respond to confidence before competence. This one hurts if you're thoughtful. Accuracy is quiet. Confidence is loud. In group settings, the person who speaks with certainty is often assumed to be correct, even when they're not. I've watched rooms align around the wrong idea simply because it was delivered without hesitation. This doesn't mean competence doesn't matter. It means competence without signaling is invisible. Human perception shortcuts toward certainty because it feels safe. Doubt feels like danger. Rule 2, fairness is contextual, not universal. Most people believe they're fair. They're not lying. They're contextual. Fairness applies strongest to in-groups and weakest to outsiders. I see this constantly in organizations. Rules are enforced selectively. Exceptions are rationalized. Morality bends around belonging. When someone says, "That's just how it is," they're not being lazy. They're revealing allegiance. Rule 3, people protect their self-image more than they pursue truth. This is where the fundamental attribution error becomes personal. When confronted with evidence that threatens identity, most people don't update their beliefs. They update their explanations. They rationalize. They deflect. They attack the messenger. In my sessions, I tell people this: if your argument threatens someone's sense of being a good person, you've already lost. Self-image is defended like territory. Rule 4. Attention is more valuable than approval. This one catches people off guard. Humans don't reward virtue consistently. They reward salience. Being noticed, even negatively, creates influence. This is why outrage travels faster than nuance and why controversial figures dominate discourse. I'm not endorsing this. I'm naming it. Attention shapes reality because humans follow what's visible. If you're invisible, you don't exist socially, no matter how right you are. Rule 5. People respect boundaries more than intentions. Good intentions are internal. Boundaries are external. Humans respond to what constrains them, not what motivates you. When you don't define limits, others define them for you, not maliciously, automatically. I've watched endlessly kind people be treated carelessly and calmly firm people be treated with respect. The difference wasn't warmth, it was clarity. Now let me help you live with these rules instead of fighting them. First, stop assuming people are malicious. Most behavior is unconscious optimization, not evil. This removes bitterness and gives you leverage. Second, separate truth from influence. You can be right and irrelevant at the same time. If something matters, learn to signal it. Third, protect your identity before challenging others. If you want honesty, create safety. If you want change, reduce threat. Fourth, manage attention intentionally. Don't chase it blindly, but don't pretend it doesn't matter. It does. Fifth, make your boundaries boring and consistent. Drama invites negotiation. Consistency ends it. Let me anchor this culturally. In Influence by Robert Cialdini, one of the most unsettling insights is that humans rely on shortcuts, authority, social proof, consistency, because thinking deeply is metabolically expensive. We don't reason our way through life, we pattern match. A deeper philosophical layer comes from The Elephant in the Brain by Kevin Simler and Robin Hanson. They argue that humans rarely understand their own motives. We act socially first and rationalize later. Once you accept this, people make more sense. And if you want a pop culture mirror, look at the film Nightcrawler. It's disturbing precisely because it exaggerates nothing. It shows what happens when someone understands these rules and follows them without moral hesitation. The discomfort you feel watching it isn't fiction, it's recognition. I want to close this carefully because this isn't about becoming ruthless. Understanding human nature doesn't require you to abandon your values. It requires you to stop expecting the world to run on them automatically. You can be principled and perceptive, kind and bounded, honest and strategic, but only if you stop pretending humans are something they're not. So here's the thought I want to leave you with, and I want you to sit with it longer than feels pleasant. If people are driven more by fear, status, and story than by truth, what does that change about how you move through the world? Don't answer it quickly.